Most people think the hardest part of leaving a corporate job is the fear of not making money. But after leaving a career in Big Four accounting, I realized that isn't the real problem. The real problem is all the other random thoughts that come into your head, like, what will people think? Will my next move really be better? And then the other real things like how to replace your benefits, how to handle the taxes, and how to make sure you aren't just leaping off a cliff without that parachute. Today, I'm sharing the exact 7-step framework that I used to leave corporate behind, including leaving those politics that drove me crazy and the pay grade ceilings to eventually start my own business. Whether you have a side hustle already or just a daydream and a 401k, by the end of this video, you're going to have a literal checklist for your exit. Before we dive into the math, I want to tell you why I did this. I was in Big Four auditing. I actually liked the work. I'm an accountant. I love a good spreadsheet and finding things that shouldn't be there, putting together a puzzle in a way. But I hated the carrot. You know, the promise of a promotion or a raise next year while you're currently working 60 hours a week for the same pay as the person next to you who's doing the bare minimum. I didn't like it. I realized I was building someone else's dream while mine was sitting on a shelf. I was lucky though. My husband was incredibly supportive, both emotionally and financially, which gave me that safety to think clearly. I started contracting on the side to bridge that gap because I knew my business would take time to grow. I didn't just quit. I transitioned. And here's how you can do the same. Step 1, get very honest about your current financial reality. Before you can design an exit, you have to know what you're actually exiting from. I see so many people say, I'll figure out the money once I leave. And as an auditor or previous auditor, that makes me It's backwards thinking. You need to know your keep the lights on number, what you actually spend every month, what is fixed, like your mortgage or rent, and what is flexible, like those freaking $15 cocktails. Why are they so expensive? No judgment here. This is just numbers. I've seen people think they need $10,000 a month to survive when they need something closer to $6,000, which yes, lots of money, but that's the reality. And the realization alone can shave a year off your corporate sentence, if you want to think of it that way. Clarity is what makes the rest of this possible. Step 2, build a transitional runway. A runway is how long your savings can support you while your income is in between. For my transition, this was a mix of savings and the contracting work I was doing. I generally recommend a 6 to 12 month runway of living expenses. This needs to be separate from your retirement and separate from hope and optimism. This money isn't just for bills. It's for your mental health. People without a runway make desperate, scarcity-based choices. People with a runway make strategic ones. And this money buys you the right to say no to the wrong opportunities and clients. Step 3, understand what you're really giving up and replacing. When you leave a Big Four or any major corporate role, you aren't just losing your paycheck. You're losing the benefits and that whole ecosystem of what they provide to you, even if you're not using them. Your health insurance, disability, life insurance. These are things that when we are W-2, we take them for granted because they're just deducted from our pay. But now you need to price these out. Look into the marketplace or private insurance options, because the goal isn't to be scared of the cost, it's to factor the cost into your new business's overhead. When you know the number, it stops being a scary unknown and just becomes another line item on your spreadsheet. Don't let these things keep you feeling stuck. Step 4, get smart about your stock compensation or other monetary benefits. One thing I see a lot is if you have RSUs, ESPP, or other options that you receive as benefits from your company, that these are the most overlooked part of your exit strategy. You have to look at what is vested versus unvested and question yourself about what happens to those shares the day you turn your laptop. I personally wasn't lucky enough to receive any stock compensation through my employer, but for many of my clients, that stock comp isn't just a bonus. It can be your launch pad. It can be the very thing that funds your runway. We just have to be strategic about the tax hit so you keep as much as possible, because stock comp can either keep you stuck longer than you want to stay, or the launch pad that makes the whole transition possible. The difference is just strategy. Step 5 is understanding how your taxes will change. This is the part almost nobody fully appreciates until it's too late. When you're an employee, the IRS gets paid before you do. When you're a business owner or a contractor, you are responsible for that relationship and payment. You may owe quarterly taxes, and your deductions are going to look completely different. I don't want you to be surprised in April. We handle this by being proactive, setting aside a percentage of every check that comes in from day one. It's not scary. It's just a new habit. This is where being proactive and planning ahead really pays off. And I had the advantage of being an accountant, so I know a little more than, the typical person on the streets launching their own business, and could ask a lot of people around me what to do in my situation. It's still good to talk to your peers, but also when you start a business, to have a trusted CPA by your side to help you not miss anything and plan ahead. Step 6, decide what enough looks like for you. I think this is more emotional than mathematical. I had to ask myself, am I willing to take a temporary pay cut to gain control of my time? Yes. Not every business needs to replace your high corporate salary immediately when you plan it right. If you try to force that, you'll end up recreating the same high pressure, burnout environment that you just left. So ask yourself what your minimum income is for year one. Giving yourself permission to earn less while you build the foundation is how you really prevent that burnout 2.0. So really consider this number as you make that leap. Step 7, build your plan before you need it. A real transition plan isn't just a vision board. It's an actual document that includes cash flow projections, your tax strategy, and how you're replacing your benefits. I built my plan while I was still working. I was contracting and building my business on the side, and honestly, I still am. Is it as exciting as the I quit dramatic moment? Definitely not, but it's effective. You don't need to blow up your life to change it. You just need to evolve it, kind of like a Pokemon. And that's how you leave the politics behind without bringing the stress with you. Emphasize that it's a transition versus a huge change, even though the emotional piece feels like you need a huge change. Moving from a steady W-2 to the world of entrepreneurship is honestly the most rewarding thing I've ever done, but it's also the most complex audit you'll ever perform on your own life. If you're sitting there thinking, I have the business idea, but not the numbers part, and that's what's keeping you stuck, that's exactly why I do what I do now. I help corporate high achievers stop guessing what's going to happen and really look deep at those numbers. Check out the details below in the description for more information that you can take away with you. If I can do it as a risk-averse auditor, I think you can do it too. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on the financial side of entrepreneurship. I'm Felicia, your partner for The Exit. I'll see you in the next video.